Do not place hope in finding a secret technique. Polish the mind through ceaseless training. That is the key to effective technique. Kayuzu Mifune. Did I say that right? He was a judo guy?
Yes, you did.
Paul Jordan.
Mifune.
We're going to try this again. Paul Jordan is a judo player and judo coach at Shutu Braza.
Judo Jiu-Jitsu.
That was pretty good for me.
Avon.
That's pretty
Pretty
good.
good. Most
Avon,
people don't get
Ohio.
that.
I tell people all the time, if you have a kid, matter of fact, I had a girl looking for karate places in the area to work with her son who was having some problems, and I said, just go see Paul. I said, don't worry about that. Go out and see Paul, and he'll take care of you. So I don't know if she got a hold of you yet, but she's on her way out here. But I want to say welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me back again, Mark. Yeah,
First time we had some technical difficulties, but hopefully it'll go better this time.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Yeah, it was good last time. I know it's we'll see if we can repeat our thing in.
It was cool. Last time you came in, I had a Ric Flair T-shirt on, and I look over at Paul and he starts laughing. And you pull off your shirt, you've got a Ric Flair T-shirt on underneath. It was like the first time we'd ever met, but that was pretty good. So you've got the gym out in Avon. How long have you been out there?
Avon, I've been out there 10 years now. Well, I've been with 10 years, 8 years in Avon.
Yeah.
So it's been unbelievable how it all came to be, because I actually had my gym 15 years in Cleveland at Esterbrook Recreation Center over on Fulton Road, over by the zoo. So I did a lot of...
Wow, that's a sketchy neighborhood too.
Yeah, it's it was neat because I got to deal with kids in there that needed structure and that's maybe more direction than anything else. I always tell people, I enjoyed it over there. The kids were the best. The rec center would always tell me I had the worst kids in the rec center in there, and I'd have to point them out, and they go, yeah, those are them. I go, those are my best kids in class, which made me think that it's not so much the kids, but it's the direction they lead not at home. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden I bring them in, and my belief, I feel this strongly that kids need direction.
Yeah.
If parents aren't giving them direction, they'll do whatever they want. But I was just so surprised how they came in and they followed stuff. If you could get their attention and focus them going in one direction.
Yeah.
I always tell parents, I draw the lines, and I don't try to keep them in the middle. I try to keep them as close to the lines as possible. Kids are kids. They're going to go outside the lines. We just got to bring them back in. So it's always the older they get, the harder the struggle it is, because there's so much that goes out there when you start to get to be a teenager.
Right.
So the kids weren't the problem. Then I met the parents, and then I realized what the problem was. And it's sad because it's all over.
We were just talking about the dog here, and I've had 3 Australian cattle dogs, and all I get is a line on them that they're horrible dogs and they're just out of control. But just like having kids, you have to give them something to do and something to focus on and something to get rid of some of that energy. And if I let her to her own devices, she'd be the worst dog in the world. But it's just like a kid. You have to focus them towards things and use that energy in a creative, positive way.
It's dogs. It's all the same. If you show them love, if you show them kindness, if I show affection to them. I mean, these kids are looking for something, somebody to give them the time, to show them that they're important. And every kid's the same to me when they come in. It's all about family. When they come into my school, it's the Shoot to Boo family. Mm-hmm. However you're at it, even if you're not a member, that you're always part of the family there. And I can say, being over when I was over in Cleveland with my one partner, I threw only one person out. Being on that and being in the side of Cleveland, and the amount of kids that we came in there, and one boy, it was funny. He was very good in the beginning, and he just got uncontrollable. And then one day he said, "I quit." I go, "No, you don't quit. I'm throwing you out."
Right.
I go, that I wasn't going to let him quit, because that is not it. He was dismissed because he was just uncontrollable.
Right.
And I couldn't have that with the rest of the kids, because once I have one, then the domino takes an effect, and then I get 2, and then I got 5, and then all of a sudden I don't have a class, because now they're back into the same mentality that I just brought them out of.
Well, yeah, right. I've had I've had I have 3 people and 1 dog that I've thrown out of here, and it was to cut out a cancer.
Yeah.
You know, you eventually you give and you give and you give and you give, and then eventually it's like, if I give any more, it's going to affect everybody else in the building. And I had people saying, you know, this person is, you know, people who I have faith in and I love were coming to me and saying, you've got to get rid of this person because they're ruining everything. And that was, you know, it's always a case by case basis, but it actually, like you said, you take that power back by saying, no, I decide that you're out of here. I'm not going to let you make that decision. And inevitably they always try to come back, and you just have to say, hey, you know, unless we have a sit down and you really have changed everything in your life, you know, I can't imagine ever letting them back in.
Right. And let me clarify. This is probably 10 years ago when I was in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't my club in
Sure.
in Avon. So
Right.
Avon, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
I mean, I got parents in there that are unbelievable, you know, and it's I've been blessed that how I ended up in Avon to this day I still don't know, but I ended up in Avon, and 8 years ago, and I never would have dreamed it would be like it is today.
Yeah, I got to get out. I've seen the outside of the school. I've never been inside. I had my son who is a great little athlete, track and field and football, and I wanted to get him into some grappling after he had a bad experience with local wrestling around here. And they threw him in because he was a bigger kid. He got thrown into a meat grinder with kids 3 years older than him who had a lot of skills, and it was like, okay, day one, here you go. Mm-hmm. And he just got dunked on his head and slammed a bunch of times. They just annihilated him. You know, he had no skills at all, and it ruined him on grappling. And then we had talked online and wanted to get him out there, and I can't get the interest back in him. He just has no interest in doing it. And I really think that if I could get him in there and say, this is the way you should learn this, and this is important, and this is the why. These are the whys of why it's important. You know, maybe one of these days I'll be able to get him in there. But I tell people all the time that if you have a young kid looking to grapple or looking to do karate or just need some direction, send him out to Paul, man. He'll take care of them.
Yeah, the nice thing about it is when I'm dealing with judo, I've had friends that had judo clubs in other cities in the country, and when they took over something, or one particular friend was an Olympic coach, and she took over the club and she turned into a competitive club, mm-hmm. which is great, sounds great, but only 15% of her customers were competitors.
Right.
So she chased 80% of the people out of her club. Didn't chase them out, they just weren't going to do that. So what I love people to do is, especially when they're kids, because I started them as young as 3.5, I want them to have a great experience when they come in there. If it's not going to be fun, and the challenge with kids today is if it's not fun, it's hard to catch you. How are we going to keep them interested?
Yeah.
And in doing this for so long, I got to a certain age, then it's work. It's just like when you start lifting, it's fun. All of a sudden when you're competitive, okay, the fun now becomes competition.
Right.
You know, for a certain mindset of a person, mm-hmm. that becomes fun now. Where some people just aren't wired that way. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to come in and have them experience judo that one, at least when they leave, they're not competitors, but they'll know how to somewhat take care of themselves. Mm-hmm. One, they'll have more self-confidence, you'll have a respect factor, they can focus more. And two, if they run into a slight altercation on the street, they probably will be able to handle themselves.
Right, yeah.
You know, so when they come in, and when I start with the little kids too, I got certain levels of them. There's 4 to 6 year olds. And some of the 6 year olds that are a little bit more advanced, I might move them up into the 7 to 12 year old kids.
Right.
And then I have the 7 to 12 year old kids when I get kids that really that want to take it to another level. If you don't want to compete and go to the next level, I'm not forcing you. Mm-hmm. You know, but I do have 7 and 8 year olds that do compete on a national level. There's another class I put them into that.
Yeah.
So I sort of weed the 20%, not weed them. I probably not the right choice. Take the 20% and put them into the next level.
Yeah.
And then the kids that get to be 12 and 13, when they start getting bigger than the little kids, now they're saying they're almost forced to take a step up to the bigger class now, which is good. Some kids are good with it. Some kids are like, okay, my time's done here.
Yeah.
Because now it becomes a little more difficult.
Yeah, I think they can make that decision on their own through years of experience. I tell you what, watching your videos and the 3, 4, 5-year-old kids, that's about the cutest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. But they're learning, they're getting that from that very young age. I always laugh at in working in a gym. In the business that I do is very similar. You have these gyms that'll pop up, and we're going to be competitive CrossFit gyms, and we're going to send people to the games. They're never going to do that because you're never going to make a living on that, because you're going to get one person. I've had 2 girls come through here in the since 2012 who I thought, this girl has what it takes. And one of them got married and had babies, and the other one just got married, and life takes over, you know. And the one, and one of them, is never going to have that kind of money that she's going to be able to even pay the regular membership. She's just a fantastic athlete who's a really young girl. And when I was her age, I didn't have that money either. You're never going to make a living off those people, and you're never going to be able to create that family atmosphere of if everyone's trying to kill each other.
Well, the nice thing I'm blessed to be in the Avon community, because my parents. Some of the people that I have a relationship with, just as an example, I think it was 2 years ago, one of the girls qualified to be on the Junior Pan American team. Oh, you have to make a decision in 7 days. Well, it's in the Dominican Republic.
She was going.
She was going.
Wow.
She was number one. Her spot. This spot is offered to. Well, all of a sudden it becomes a $3,000 trip.
Wow.
And you have to know. So it's like the parents are like, I go, well, let me see what I can do. And I text 8 people, and within 2 days I had the $3,000 for it.
Yeah.
And because when you're going to another country, I couldn't just pick up and go like that, and I didn't have a coach that could do that. So a parent's going. So the parent couldn't afford both of them to go, because he's not going to let his daughter go down to by herself. Now, the coaching staff that she was involved with, I know them personally. So I was comfortable with the coaches. If I didn't like the coaches, I'd say, this isn't your trip.
These like Pan American coaches, they selected the coaches.
Yeah, they're coaches going down there. So the guys I know are personal friends of mine. So I'm comfortable with it. I call and say, hey, take care of so-and-so for me. Right. And they were like, we got it. So it was great. She went down. She won a bronze medal. She beat the Brazilian girl for 3rd place. It was nice. Came back in, had her... took some pictures, and I'd say, hey, please do me a favor, get a picture on the podium, get a picture of your how you can put it both together, and do me a favor, sign them for me and say thank you. And I gave everybody's names, had them framed, and took them back to everybody that donated to her. And you know what, those guys were like, next time something like this happens again, please call us.
You know what, that'd be fantastic. Just thinking about your little contribution from in my sense, if I'm going to give somebody some money, working in my job, and then get that picture back of them, actually, this is the results of you giving that. And I'm guessing the people that gave
$500,000
wasn't going to wreck their mortgage payment for the month, but what a reward for. And probably not even thinking you're going to get any reward out of this, but just that picture would have been fantastic.
The funny thing about it, I went into one guy's office about 6 months ago. Guess what's hanging in his office?
Yeah, right.
That picture's hanging in his office. So it's real neat that, And then the girl that went, she was ecstatic just to do it. She's autographing and doing her Sharpie on it. I'm like, it's all about just the love of something. And the nice thing about it too is this: I wish the boys would catch up. Last year I had a girl go to Japan to compete, and the year before that I had 3 girls go to Japan to compete.
Yeah.
So I always tell people it starts out as a nice little experience. You're learning, but it can take you all over the world. And
right.
When I tell parents that, at first they didn't believe me. Then all of a sudden, boom, one person's in the Dominican. Boom, 3 girls are going to Japan.
And the other girls see that all happen.
And I tell that when I do my promotions. And I've got 80 kids on the mat doing their promotions, and I got the captive audience of all the parents. And it brings tears to my eyes sometimes.
Sure.
This is what it's about. This is what your kids can do. And they're 14 years old.
Yeah.
They're going to Japan. I'm sitting there going, my woman's coach gets to go with the mom. Now she obviously has to pay, but she's going with my, and I'm not going to go with the girls. But I go, come on, boys, I want to go to Japan.
Sure, yeah.
Let me go.
I tell you what, one of the best things.
Oh, and I did have a girl that competed in the Junior Pan Ams this past year in Cancun. So
not a bad trip.
I got all these girls going all over the place, and I'm sitting at home in Ohio.
I had a girl when I was working with primarily just shot discus and hammer athletes, and I had a girl who I worked with from the time she was in the 7th grade all the way through her senior year, and she ended up winning 2 state discus championships. We won it the first year as a junior. And then the next year she went down as a senior, and in her senior year she had a major case of senioritis and found a boyfriend and wasn't training the way she was supposed to be training. And we butted heads a lot during that senior year. I said, look, this is your path, and you're off the path, and you're screwing everything up. And I was angry with her, and she qualifies for states and is going down there. And I wasn't going to go. I wasn't going to go to states. I'm like, you haven't prepared the way you should have. And her father had to sit down with me and said, hey, would you please go down there? I know she's screwing up. But I said, okay. So I went down there. And when we got down there for the first time all year, it clicked. And we were together. And I talked her through it. And she ended up winning the state championship.
That's awesome.
And I went home. And I was still mad at her, you know. Yeah. And she comes back in about 2 weeks later with her state championship medal framed and a letter to me thanking me for everything, and I hugged her and broke into tears. I just couldn't. I mean, it was just, it was amazing. And the girl ended up turning it around and going to Yale and doing everything right. But for that, it was such an emotional moment that that accumulation of 6 years of training together and going through those ups and downs. And we had a fire in my home in 2008 or 9, and that was lost in the fire. And to this day, it's the only thing I miss from that fire. Everything else, it was like, get rid of it. I wouldn't care. That's the one thing that I miss from that.
You can't get that, man. You can't get
Never.
that back.
No.
Yeah. That's a tough thing, because kids are always going to go outside the lines.
Yeah.
They're always. It's I want to say, in all the kids I've dealt with in judo, they always do. Mm-hmm. They always, and you just got to be the voice, upset, whatever you want to be with it, that hopefully they can pull it back in. Because I always go back how I like to train the kids, because I had won junior nationals, I've won junior Olympic nationals, I've done all these things, and all of a sudden I'm 19 years old and my direction started going the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I was still doing judo, but all of a sudden I'm drinking and I started smoking. And I had a 5-year stint when I was 3.5 years I was out of it completely. I was drinking and doing drugs and just out of it. And I came back into it at 26. I quit drinking and slowly got myself back into it at a national level competition, where I was making it to the elite list. I'm not winning, I'm not placing, but I'm finishing 7th. I'm getting the 5th. I'm not cracking the podium, though. But one particular individual said something to me once. I had just placed 2nd in a tournament in Florida, and the kid that beat me was the current world team member. And he came up to me and said, hey, talking to me, go, great job out there. He goes, how old are you? And I go, 29. He just looked and he goes, oh, yeah, too old. Ran the OTC, was looking, hey, maybe you can come out if you're young enough. I wasn't young enough. And I'm like, to this day, I don't regret anything I did. The drinking and the drugs and doing everything wrong. Could I, would I, should I? It's not my, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the past. My direction now is to help people try to avoid that situation where they get caught up in that. Focus on your training. Don't let somebody don't get sidetracked by certain things.
It might have hurt your athletic career, but it probably made you a better coach in the long run.
Absolutely. The focus is totally different today.
Yeah.
I'm not, some of the things I did in the past, I can't take them back, but it got me where I'm at today.
I listened to this video I love by Jocko Willink, who's a Navy SEAL and does like leadership training, and he's got this video called Good, and I showed it to my son the other day, and it was like every time something bad would happen in his military career, oh, your mission got canceled, good, gives us more time to train. Oh, you didn't get the equipment you wanted, good, we'll have to get better at this, and it's that kind of mindset you have to have. Oh, I screwed up and I didn't make the Olympic Training Center because I was screwing around. Good. Now I'm going to turn this into the best coaching experience I could possibly have. And it's all those mindsets you have to train yourself to get into.
Through. Yeah, and at 26, I'm still,
super young, just a baby.
Remember, I'm 26 now. When I started the abuse of alcohol and that, I'm actually nothing happened in that period of time to be growing mentally.
Right.
Mentally, anything. So now that I'm not drinking, it takes me back to those teenage years again, where I'm back here. I'm a 26-year-old with the mind of 18, 19-year-old.
Right.
Now I had to grow through that process again. And what I did, I replaced working out with alcoholism.
Right.
So I used to tell people, people, when I quit drinking, I'd be around people that I was associated with, high school friends, and I'd say, hey, we're doing this event, come on. I'd go to her, he goes, have something like this, drink, hey, you work out too much. Why do you do that? I go, well, one day, the doctor, we're going to be 50 years old one day, and the doctor's going to say, you know what, you got to lose weight, you got to quit drinking, you got to quit smoking, and mark my word, my face is going to come up in there.
Yeah.
But for all the amount, I drank all the time. I worked for Budweiser, I drank all the time. I drove a beer truck and get away with it back in the day. I'm glad I quit back when I did, but doing that all day long, I had to replace my time. So I started working out in the morning. I get out of work, go back to the gym. Then I'd go to judo practice. So I was probably obsessed with working out, which was, I needed that to stay out of. And then
you probably have some kind of addicted personality that you have to be addicted to something.
I'd rather be addicted to something good than something bad.
Addicted to the discipline, That's
And I had family. I had a judo practice with 4 to 6 year olds the other day, and a parent brought in an ice cream cake. They go, want any? And I sort of look at it and go, man, I don't eat stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I know my personality, if it comes to be sugar, whatever it is, if there's sugar, because I'll eat fat-free stuff. Fat-free, and even though that's not worse for you, I always tell people that companies came out with the best serving size for fat-free ice cream. You know what size it is? Half gallon.
Yeah.
Because once I start, I eat it till it's gone.
It's fat-free. I could probably eat all this. It'll be fine.
But on the flip side of it, I know that if I start, I've got to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't start, I don't have to stop.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big sweets guy. Well, there was a wedding and it was really bad. I was at Haruki Nakamura's wedding. Guy played, a good friend of mine, and they had a Cake Boss cake there. From the show Cake Boss, they had one of his cakes.
Yeah.
They cut that thing up, and I'm looking at that thing going, oh my gosh, I want a piece of cake.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself there, I'm looking at the St. Ed's coach was there. Coach Urbis was there. Go ahead, have a piece of cake. Coach Urbis. I'm sitting way back in the corner there. I'm going to guarantee you one thing. If I take a piece of cake, I am going to run a path back and forth more times than I want to, because I'll probably eat more cake till I'm sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
So as long as I don't start, I'm good.
Yeah, I see that with people. They'll come in here. I've got a guy in mind I'm thinking of right now, and I love him. I just love him to death. And he was an alcoholic and came in here for the first time, and I saw him, and he came walking in, and he told me that he wanted to start training, and he's a truck driver. And I looked at him and said, I'll never see this guy again. But he came in here and directed that addictive personality towards training, and not only did I see him again, I saw him every day for years on end. He was just in here training, and anytime he slips a little bit, I get on him and say, hey, what's going on? I just got some work shit going on. I got to, but I worry about those people, that switch will flip and they'll go the other direction,
Yeah, it's been 31 years since I drank.
At all. So you don't drink at all.
No. I know with, smoking, drinking, the whole thing. Once you have one, I remember I quit smoking twice. And I can remember when I started the second time, I just had one.
Yeah.
Then I was bumming them. Then I was locked in, and then I quit again. So it's one of those. And so I equated the smoking with the drinking.
Mm-hmm.
If I drink one, I'm going to drink.
Right, yeah.
Now, it might be a slow process, but I'm going to pick right up where I left off at, and that's something I can't do again.
Yeah, I stopped drinking for about 5 or 6 years, and didn't have an issue or anything. I wanted to see if I could do it and to say, hey, I don't need this. And I remember 5 or 6 years went by, and I was in Key West, Florida, and for the first time ever, which is one of my favorite places on the planet, and they had a little, we were staying in a bed and breakfast, and they had a little refrigerator in the room, and I opened it up, and there was a bottle of rum in there. And I went, you know what, I'm going to have a drink. And it was like, okay, I don't need it because I just spent 5 or 6 years not drinking, and now I have a cocktail a night or so, nothing crazy. But I think once you have that personality where
people
can
do that. I've known people that can do that. I'm not going to try it.
No, and you know yourself.
I know me. I don't
Right.
even want to think that I might be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny actually when I quit drinking, and I actually went to rehab in Lorraine. And when I came back to work, I drove a beer truck. so if I wasn't willing enough to say I'm done with drinking,
Yeah.
I had everything around me to the point I'm delivering it. If I want to drink,
Yeah.
people say, well, you got to quit. I go, no, I don't. I'm making good money doing this. I am not college educated. I don't work weekends. I cannot find a job
Yeah.
that pays me this kind of money for me just to say I'm going to go quit and I'm going to go find something else.
But I'm guessing your life in judo probably prepared you for that, to have the discipline to say that I can drive this truck full of beer. It doesn't mean I have to go to the store afterwards and buy
and
a
that's
case.
what my mindset was.
Yeah.
That's what my mind. And it's funny because back in my competitive days, and we talked about this before, because you go to the gym 6 days a week, because I always took one day off. Go to the gym 6 days a week. You just can't go to the gym every day just to go to the gym, just
Right.
to stand. I mean,
Right.
My mind said that there's got to be a motive behind it. Am I going to do a powerlifting competition? Am I going to do a bodybuilding? I've got to have a goal, because you just can't go to the gym just to go to the gym.
Yeah.
You just got,
Not when you have brains like we do.
yeah.
Sure.
No, there's got to be. There's something that drives me more. And then I got into doing a couple bodybuilding shows. I got into competitive judo. So even when I was working on the beer truck, and you'll like this because this is old, strongman competition stuff. I would actually want to work when I'm on the beer truck. So I would be at some of the grocery stores, and I'm getting my workout. Now I worked out at 4:30 in the morning over at the gym in Lorraine. I'd go to work, and I would put 80 to 100 cases of beer on a cart, and I'm shoving that beer up a ramp.
Right.
Going, you know what? I'm going to start getting warmed up and start doing, just to get a workout while I was doing it. I'd be doing those U-boats, and there's 60 cases of beer on that. And people look at me, you're nuts. I'm like, I'm doing it because I can.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't recommend anybody doing it, but back in the day when I was lifting hard and training, I wanted to always be working out, doing something to make myself better.
I think that's one of the problems with society in general right now, is there's not enough struggle, and we need to find ways to create that struggle. I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I work out 4 or 5 days a week, usually twice in the same day. So I'll work out a major workout in the morning, smaller one in the afternoon, and it's after my last class of the day. So 6 p.m., I've been working since 6 a.m., and I know I got to get this 20, 30-minute workout in at the end, or else when I go home that night, I can't sit on that couch and relax and have that cocktail, because I'll eat myself alive. I'll sit there and think about it. And it's that struggle that I think makes us better all around. It makes you a successful gym owner. It makes you a successful husband and father. And we don't have enough of that struggle. We sit behind desks and we look at computers, and people they're coming into my gym for the first time, and I used to get 40 or 50-year-olds who have hunched shoulders because they spent all their time on computers at the gym, and now I'm getting kids, 13, 14 years with those same humped shoulders from doing that same thing. And when we were kids, I'm sure you had the same upbringing I did. You're either in a sport or you're outside climbing trees or running or swimming.
Something.
Yeah, and you just don't see that anymore. And I think as humans, we struggle with that and want that struggle in our lives. And I think the rise, for me, and this is having no medical training at all, I think the rise you see in people on psychiatric meds for depression correlates with the lowering of the struggle absolutely in our lives. And I wish people could see that, and before they go to their doctor and say, hey, I need this pill because I'm depressed, say, hey, I'm going to go judo practice and I'm going to learn to choke the fuck out of somebody, or I'm going to go to the gym and flip some tires, you know, and
that's where my main focus at the club is now, is the person that is 40 plus now.
mm-hmm.
You know, the kids drive my club. That's the driven. I was with the jiu-jitsu instructor and we're like, what do we want? The direction I want to go is, do we want the competitive jiu-jitsu guy? Okay, it's like anything else. I want the guy that's 40,
yeah.
or the girl that's 40,
yep.
and they want to do this to stay in shape. They want to do this because they got to burn energy. They want to do this because they want to feel a sense of accomplishment. And so now in the last month, I've been driving on bringing older people into the jiu-jitsu class. Now, the jiu-jitsu and the judo is different because
I was just going to ask you about that.
I can teach, because the jiu-jitsu, the large portion of it's on the ground, when we're
right.
choking, arm bars, and that. The judo part of it, it's similar. They're similar because the techniques of judo and jiu-jitsu. Mifune went to Brazil and taught. You know, the lineage
right.
goes down to the Gracies. The founder of judo sent him to Brazil, and through that lineage comes Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
And the techniques are similar. You'll see a lot of stuff that's the same, but the judo part focuses more on throwing somebody
right.
as hard as you can, as fast and as hard as you can. So for me, I always tell people, if somebody comes in my gym that's over 20, I'm fortunate to have both solid classes. I'll start you in the jiu-jitsu, let's bring in the judo, because they're going to both go hand in hand.
Yeah.
A 3-year-old kid, I can teach them to jump off a building.
Yeah,
They got reckless
right.
abandonment. To take a 40-year-old guy and throw him over your shoulder onto the ground, that's a little bit different.
And that was what I was just going to ask you about, because to me, walking in the gym and a guy who's in good shape and healthy, and I would be a lot more nervous to do the judo than the jiu-jitsu, just because of the throws. And being the age we are, you hit the mat and nothing necessarily needs to happen. Shit just breaks on you for no reason.
But on the new school days is I've got a ton of crash pads in there. Like gymnastic crash pads. So large part of the now is, instead of having the kids throw, I have kids crank it up in there. So if they're throwing somebody 50 times, I mean, that can be pretty brutal on your body. I've got crash pads to throw them. The adults, they're always getting thrown on crash pads. Then we go out and do our sparring and that. That's a whole different story. You're going to take, have the more experienced ranks will take the less experienced judo players, whatever their age is, and work with them. Make sure if they throw them, they're going to take a proper fall. The safety comes into factor.
I watched this video, Yoel Romero, the other day, the Cuban wrestler who's now in the UFC. And he's training in Cuba with the Cuban national team. And he's jacked to the tits. I mean, he's not a huge guy, but you see him on video and he looks like an absolute monster. Shirt off in this dungeon of a place with these other Cuban wrestlers. And it's just throw after throw after throw. And he's got like 6 or 7 guys rotating in, or he's just throwing these guys over and over again. And I think that when you see guys like that, whether they're judo guys or wrestlers, there's a whole different kind of strength involved, not just in the ability to be able to take a fall like that over and over and over again, but when they get a hold of you, it's like a monkey's got, like a gorilla got a hold of you.
The grip strength of a wrestler or a judo player, because it's just normal for me. And when I get with guys in jiu-jitsu or that I don't know, they haven't rolled before, and they always say, "Oh my gosh, your grip strength." I'm like, I'm just a 56-year-old guy.
Yeah.
I can't break your grip.
Yeah.
And they'll always say they know when they get a hold of a judo player, because when they get a hold of the uniform or the gi, they can't break that grip.
Yeah.
And it's hard. There's ways to do it, but then I always tell them, if you can break my grip, I re-grip pretty fast. So, I don't. It's instinctively that I change my grips on you, and that's when they get in trouble.
I learned to roll with a guy by the name of Chris Carrion, who's a buddy of yours, and I was a wrestler into high school, and then when I got a job at the correctional place, he taught the ground fighting for the special response team, and had never had any judo experience at all. And Chris was probably 3 inches shorter than me and probably 60 pounds lighter than me. And he was a real quiet guy, and he just got me on the mat and said, we're gonna spar a little bit here. And I said, this is going to be fucking easy. You know, I know what I'm doing. I'll get this guy down on the ground. And I got him down on the ground, and that was the end of it.
Yep.
Because I didn't know what to do with him, and I couldn't break his grip. And I had him down, I remember at one point, and I was on top of him, and he was in the guard, which I didn't know what the guard was at the time. And I'm on top of him, and I just looked down at him, and he's smiling at me. And I was like, what the hell is going to happen now? And within minutes, I was choked out. You know? It was just, he was so much on a different level. And that was my first experience getting to roll with somebody who had that grip strength and that technique. That
my one friend, Joe Schmidt, you know, we grew up together. We're the same age. And he was at a different judo school, but we competed against each other. We got to be real good friends. He's in the Sambo Hall of Fame. You know, we competed at high levels, national levels of judo. We actually got together and started working with law enforcement. And we worked with the SRT unit in Elyria. We worked with Shaker Heights. Worked with a couple of SWAT teams. And it's ironic. I always tell people, I said, I'm in halfway decent shape. And I keep I lost my hair. Joe, who is he's in the National Sambo Hall of Fame. I'm a nice guy. Joe will kick the crap out of you, but he's got a little belly on him.
Yeah.
He doesn't shave his head down. He's got all that being messed up there. And the SWAT team guys look at us because we're both 56. Now we haven't worked together probably like 7 years. We'd get when they would look at us. They're your size or bigger.
Yeah.
They're 230. These guys are like, we're looking at them going. They're looking at us like we don't know what we're doing. We're showing them things. At the end of it, we always left up 30 minutes for guys who want to come and try, practice. They want to do a little rolling with us or whatever. And we'd always get those tough guys right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, they're gonna come in. They're gonna try to pee on our thunder roll.
Right.
And it's ironic. And I always tell them. I always warn them. I say, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm the nice guy. That guy, that unmade bed over there, is gonna kick the crap out of you. And so we're both different people. So we'd take advantage of him. I'd make him tire himself out, and an arm choke him. Joe just flat out kick the crap out. He don't care.
Yeah.
He'd hit the techniques, and at the end of it, we would go 30 minutes straight. And the other guys would go 2 minutes with us, and they're huffing and puffing, and we'd make them stay out there for 4 minutes. And at the end of it, they go, "Oh my gosh, you guys don't look at that. You don't look like you're that tough." And I go, "Fellas, we're the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
You just underestimated somebody on the street. If we were the bad guys, I would have taken your gun and shot you."
Yeah.
I said,
2 minutes.
That's how lack of training that you don't have there.
And what happens when you're back up 6 minutes away? You know,
You're done. I go, and they look at it at a different perspective. And even guys in my jiu-jitsu club, some of the guys don't look that good. And you know how the bar is. It's the big guy always picks on the littlest guy.
Yeah, right.
I got a couple guys that are the littlest guys, and you know what? I gotta bust my butt with these guys because they're good.
Yeah.
They're 150, 160 pounds, but they'll break your ankle. They'll do stuff to you on the ground that you don't want to. That's the guy you want to pick on.
I had a local SWAT team in here for a year last year, and they walked in the first time, and we had one of the guys who kind of talked the team into doing this. He's in pretty good shape, but these guys walked in, and these are the best of the best. These are the elite guys, and 90% of them couldn't do a pull-up. Very few could do a push-up. They couldn't go for 10 minutes of conditioning, and they would make jokes about it. And to me, that's not funny. You're gonna fucking die. Mm-hmm. If the shit breaks off, yeah, it's funny that you go out and drink beers with your buddies on the weekend, but it's not a joke, man. You better be in shape, and you better know how to fight. You're dealing with the worst humans on the planet in the most dangerous situations on the planet, and you're not ready. You're just not ready. It's scary.
You being a correctional officer, you know that because you get them incarcerated.
Yeah.
You deal with those people on a daily basis.
And it was never. I knew my limitations because of the training with Chris. I knew that. First of all, when I first started with him, I knew I better end that fight fast because I was very powerful, but if I didn't end that fight fast, I was going to be in trouble. And that was when I turned it on and said, I better get in some kind of shape where I can go at least until backup arrives, in case this guy is tougher than I made him out to be, Very difficult.
The ironic thing was we had this discussion. I was working with the local police department. I was their DT instructor. In the past year, not this year, last year, I made it to the point we changed direction, so we started teaching boxing, right? Not so much boxing, but how to defend if somebody hits you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the drills, I started doing anaerobic training with them. You know, I'm starting to do things for a minute off, minute off. I go, guys, if you can't train anaerobically and you're out there, you've got to overcome somebody that's going to go a little bit longer than you. You can't be gassing before the guy on the bottom gasses on you. So it was neat. Again, law enforcement's law enforcement. It's scary out there. How it is out there.
Yeah, I've got a girl in here who is, I don't know if there's a minimum height for police, but she can't be much more than 5 feet tall. She's 26, you know, and wants to get on a police force, and having worked in corrections, I'm trying to talk her out of it, because again, I love her, and I said, look, go find something else to do. I understand this is your goal, this is your dream, but you're going to get hurt. Something bad's going to happen to you, and it doesn't matter how much weight you lift in here or how many judo classes you take. You're 5 feet tall, and someone's going to hurt you bad. And she's tough and wants to do it, and God love her. I hope the best for her, but it's scary, you know.
It's nice. I have a lot of law enforcement come to my place, which it's not mandatory. So this is their own time.
Mm-hmm.
The guys I have come in, whether they're from Amherst, Lorraine, Sheriff's Department, Elyria, Fairview Park, State Highway Patrol. These are guys coming learning how to do training.
Mm-hmm.
These are guys I'll trust on the street. They'll know how to handle themselves, but it's not company time though. It's on their own time.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah. And then again, it's like anything. It's like going to the gym. They're coming in and they're training. Just, you know, that's just another regimen of staying in shape.
Yeah, I always thought that if these police departments, and it's the same thing we talked about teachers the other day with their unions and having to negotiate with their people. If I have my officers on the street, I would think that you would want them in the best shape humanly possible, and having the best marksmanship possible, and the best psychological training possible, and the best self-defense training possible. None of that stuff comes up, because I've been in those union meetings where we talk about money.
Yep.
And how are we going to get our pay?
The money. Yep.
And they just don't talk about those things. And I would just want to fight to have my guys be in shape and be able to run the gamut. You have to have the best of the best out there.
Yeah. It's scary, but you know, that's why I like where I'm at in the position in my life that my wife always gives me a hard time, because I never like to sit with my back to the door. If it's coming, I want to see it coming. So I'm always, when I teach self-defense, when I teach women self-defense, it doesn't matter. If it's coming, I know it's coming.
Yeah.
I'm going to be prepared for it. I'm not going to be that guy where somebody's going to come up from behind me and get me. So I practice that sort of like that's a daily practice I do wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, it's what I try to, and it's ironic that I'm actually teaching a school in Elyria, 4th and 5th graders. They wanted me to teach self-defense, and I had to look at the principal. I said, look, it's a great idea, but at a 4th and a 5th grader is 9 and 10 years old.
Yeah.
How are you going to teach a 10-year-old self-defense on, let's say, that the guy weighs 170 pounds?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, they just pick you up and they can run with you.
Just like we talked about with the girl in here. She's, just small, very small.
So I get an hour with them, and I'm doing a awareness class, and I'll throw some anti-bully into it, because at this point, and I've got skits I'm going to do for. I'm going to trick the kids, because I want them to, when they walk out of there, going, oh, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when I do my self-defense, and I do the self-defense with the teachers after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when they walk out, go, I get it.
Yeah.
They're not going to throw these roundhouse
kicks
to the head.
No keto moves.
None of this stuff like that. They're going to know before it happens that they're not going to get caught by surprise.
Right, yeah.
So if I can get, we'll have 50 kids. So that'd be a challenge in itself to get their attention. But
yeah, isn't that the most important thing though? I mean, I'm the same way, and that came from working at the sheriff's department. You know, you sit with your back to, or you sit with your face in the door. And my wife, it's gotten better now, but when I met my wife, I was just retiring, and we would sit in a restaurant, and I was just always watching everybody in the restaurant. And she would say, I'm here, and she would like point to her eyes, and I'm like, it's a hard habit to break, you know.
My wife tells me that too.
Yeah.
Because until she understood, look, she always knew that I put my back, because she started sitting, taking that seat. I go, honey, can you? She goes, you don't talk. I go, this. And then once she started understanding my reasoning, and then things that, and I was employed by a couple people to do some stuff, and then she started to understand.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Now I see why you do that.
Yeah.
It's not that some pretty blonde walks by and I'm looking at that.
Right.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, she
can
was
say,
always.
it's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah, she was always like, "What? I'm here. You're acting like you want to be anywhere else but here." I go, "Look, I just can't
That's
not
how you're
do
wired.
that."
It's how you're wired.
I hear
that.
everything you're saying, but
Yeah.
I'm watching everybody in the room, and that's weird though. That's funny that I'm sure that anyone who's done this kind of stuff or worked in these kind of environments probably has that same.
You get wired that way.
Yeah.
And it's hard. You can't unwire that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's life and death.
Yeah.
I can't unwire something in my brain that could cost me my life if my back's turned.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm sitting in some place, or just take for example, I helped with some training with the church, a couple of churches. People go, what do you have to do that with the church for? I go, well, I go to a non-denominational church, which non-denominational is all in the Bible. I mean, there's things in there flat out. This is how it is in the Bible.
Yeah. Right.
I tell people, I go, well, I went to 12 years of Catholic school. So I went to a grade school, and then this grade school I went to had the church there. So I could go to that church today, and I'll walk in that church, not being in that church for 20 years,
right.
And somebody will go, oh, hey, there's Gene Jordan's son. So everybody's in that community knows everybody. So when somebody comes in there, you know who they are. And you know when somebody's a stranger coming in there, because everybody knows.
Yeah.
They know. They're in the communities. Now the Catholic churches are closing more, so it's becoming a little bit more. But when you go into the non-denominational churches, they bring in there's some people that come in there that are looking for something.
Yeah.
They're down and out.
Yeah.
They might be mentally a little bit not on point, where they're not on medication. So you have to be a little bit more prepared. And then the one thing that I saw, this happened at a church in Oklahoma, probably like 10 years ago, because that's when I started helping out churches with it. It was just the pastor up there standing and praying over, just walking out. Guy gets out and just cold cocks him.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then I started Googling more. And then it's all of a sudden church shootings. You get to a Baptist church and you're up there singing, and all of a sudden you hear pop, 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 pop. And everybody just starts screaming. It's like, you know what? It's a little bit scary. You have to start preparing yourself, because the society we live in today, they don't like the Bible. They don't like a lot of that stuff in there.
And they've got easy access to guns.
Oh yeah, and they get in there and do something. So there's a thing that, the one church, the main campus, we started implementing policies in there when they lock the doors. Now there's somebody out there, someone wants to come in, they'll let them in. But once the service starts, it's going to be hard for you to come in there.
Simple stuff, simple
solutions.
You probably don't think about. Yeah.
And even though the one church that I would go to, there's 2 people in there who can still carry.
Yeah.
And I know 2 law enforcement officers, and they have their guns. So instead of being reactive, we're proactive in the game, because if that's going to happen, we're not going to get caught in here. If somebody comes in and tries to do something.
Right. Yeah. It was interesting when you came in today. She barked until she sniffed you and realized she'd seen you before, the dog. And we've had a couple of people come in here now, and if hundreds of people come through here in a day. If she hasn't seen him before, she'll perk up, and if there's something off about him, she'll just keep barking until they leave. And I can almost tell who I want in the gym or not, because when she knew it was you, she's okay. Yeah. Or we had a kid come in the other day and shook my hand. She barked at first, and then she calmed down. But a couple of weeks ago, we had a guy in here who she never stopped barking at, and there was just something off about that cat. And
it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Animals, what they'll do, the radar the animals have.
Right. So I trust it. If she won't stop barking, I don't talk the guy into joining too hard.
Yeah.
It's $400 a month. You're not going to be just up the price on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You want to keep it's just one bad apple. You only
That's all
need one
it takes,
bad apple
right?
to come in here.
We're having discussions with my son and with all the school violence lately, and the kids, people are poo-pooing it, and coming up with all kinds of reasons why it's not a good thing. But these kids are taking the reins. They're tired of this stuff, and they're they're scared to death. They're trying to find ways to not have to deal with being scared when they're at school anymore.
Yeah, I applaud them for it. Are they generally right? Sort of right. I wish a lot of that energy would get channeled in, that same energy get channeled into anti-bullying.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there go, why can't they do that for anti-bullying?
Right.
How many people have died? How many kids have died from suicides?
Yeah.
Why can't, and it's not like a shooting, it's a horrific thing. I mean, this happens on a daily basis with kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, gosh, gotta do what you gotta do. Direction to the kids. Put them on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things in schools today. And I'm not.
Do you think though that we're dealing with more bullying than we dealt with, or are we dealing with kids that are more aware of it and don't know how to handle it?
I think that's more of it. More of it. And two, it's more internet, so it's more like if I'm at home.
Yeah. Right.
And they're saying stuff to me.
Get on your iPhone or just type in.
And you're a kid. I mean. What do you do your iPhones, kids today? They can't live without them.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes I got my phone on me. Where's my phone at?
Yeah.
I'm on it a little bit. I do business on there. I do my business at the club and my social. But
yeah, I don't know how people did business before them.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. But yeah, there's so many things that are out in the play now with that. So I don't. What's the solution?
Yeah, it's such in the limelight now, and my son has talked about it too, and he's kind of a pretty intuitive kid, and he's talked about kids in his school that, well, they don't get to eat lunch with anybody else, and I said, well, then go eat lunch with them. Why just be that change, and maybe other people will follow along with you. My wife's really good about having in-depth conversations with him about that stuff, where I listen in. I don't always have the best solutions, but they talk it out, and he's got a group of friends where they're being a little bit more proactive with these kids and trying to. And I think it only takes one or two students for that to happen.
Yeah, it's even when I was in high school, even the kids I have coming into my club because of parents,
right?
They're being bullied, and I'm looking at it, and you can see the look on their face that they're not that perky kid.
Yeah.
And they're coming in there as a read, and you can see, and just to bring them in and just put them a part of the family.
Yeah.
When they walk in and a new person comes in, my kids know immediately. You get up, you stop what you're doing, you come over and you shake hands to the new kid coming in.
I love it.
Make them feel like they're part of it.
Absolutely.
You're part of this.
Yeah.
Don't. If I have to tell you. At the end of class, I'm going to add them up. I'm going to make you do push-ups.
Yeah, right.
So you make sure you get over there and you whatever you're doing.
That's fantastic. What a way to make a kid feel welcome when he's,
I don't know what he's like when they're coming. Parents bring their kids in. I don't know what they're going through.
Sure.
And that's another thing I try to tell parents. Like, parents like to be vocal. I nip it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So if something's going wrong, if the kid's not behaving quite like they want to on the mat, again, the lines. Keep them close to the lines.
Right.
I don't need a parent barking out there.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I'll go, look, I appreciate but I need you to just be quiet over here. I don't have a room where they can't hear, they can't talk.
Yeah, I saw videos. They got kind of chairs.
Yeah,
where you can
right
sit,
there.
But they're right there.
I always tell parents, I say, look, your son or daughter, they go to school, they get yelled at. They come home, they get yelled at. I don't want them to come to judo class and get yelled at. Let me deal with it. I will fix it. If something's being done behind my back, I've been doing this for 50 years. I know what's going on behind my back.
Right.
You don't have to point that to my attention.
Yeah.
I see it. I will get them. Just take a deep breath. Everybody brings their 5 or 6 year old kid to come in there and expects them to be perfect. They're 5.
Yeah.
They're 7-year-old kid. They're 7. They got ants in their pants already when you bring them to me.
Yep.
And now they come in there and they're supposed to be perfect when they come in there. It's a process.
Yeah.
Just take a deep breath.
When my son first started playing football, I did like my father did. I brought him there. I dropped him off. I went somewhere else. And what I saw was parents lining the field, yelling instructions to their children out on the football field. And I remember the second or third day of practice, he said, well, why don't you stay around like the other parents? I said, because you have a coach who's there to teach you. And it was ridiculous to me that here is a 40-year-old man yelling at his son he's got a coach right there.
Yep.
That's why you're I don't know if we were paying him at the time or not, but that man is that's his job, is to teach that child to play football. And if you want to work with him at home, hey, God love you, but
I've nipped that in the bud.
Yeah.
You don't put pressure on my students.
Yeah.
Now, they're my students who are on that mat. They're not your kid. They're my students.
I love it. Yeah, right.
And there was a person, and if I would say his name, you know who he is. We literally did something where we were doing, you're starting to throw each other. All of a sudden, he gets up and he's over on his side. I started going over there trying to coach his kids. Sit down. I don't care what you think. You do this. You're not a 6th-degree black belt.
Right.
Ex-competitor. Stop coming out here and trying to tell him what to do out here.
And even if you were, it's your class.
Yeah. And he understood that. It's like, and when people start telling, when I get vocal in front of everybody, say this is practice. When we go to tournaments, you can cheer all you want.
Sure.
You're
Sure.
over there in the stands. You can
Yep.
yell whatever you want out there. Practice.
Yeah.
Let them get to be good in here. Let them learn how to do. Let them understand how this works. Not trying to meet your expectations.
Yeah.
Sitting in a chair over there. And I get a good rant, and I'll give. Every once in a while, one comes up. They pop up every once in a while. I just
Yeah.
have to politely say, no coaching, or their uniforms come undone. Listen, we're going to teach our kids how they're going to dress themselves here. Do not come on the mat and fix
Right,
your stuff.
right.
It'll get done out here. We will fix it out here. So,
Yeah,
and
I've
which
gone
is
through
good.
that
Which
same
is good.
thing.
Which is, I mean, I
Yeah.
appreciate the parents, but this isn't when they're
They've
out
got to
here.
be trained just like the
Right,
kids do.
absolutely.
That's I've had to go through that with parents whether it's here in the gym or when I had track kids, or I got this, we're going to take care of this. And I think, like you said, once you get them to realize, it's not my place here, I'm here to watch. And
I appreciate parents being there, because
Sure.
my parents were never there.
Right.
My parents never came. I remember even in high school when I wrestled, my parents never went to the matches. I was at a tournament at Leary Catholic. It was before my Sensei Nakamura died. I think it would have been 1990. And I looked up, 1990. Now, I've been in judo since 1968. It's 1990.
Yeah.
I look up, and there's my mom and dad there. So how many, 20-some years before they
Right,
came
right.
together to a judo tournament.
Right.
And I sat there and go, wow. It didn't.
Yeah.
But they were there.
Yeah.
It took them, they were there. They came.
Yeah, and I wonder how many kids, and I'm guessing at that time, I think about my parents who both worked jobs and were both struggling, and my mom didn't get out of school until late, so she missed a lot of track meets, and my father worked a real job, he didn't get home till 6 or 7 o'clock at night, so he wasn't in a lot of stuff. And nowadays it's probably not much different, people trying to do the best they can to get to these places, but it's good that you can have a situation like your place where you can drop them off there and know that, hey, they're going to be coached, they're going to be led in the right way, not just on the mat but in life, and they're going to learn things that they're going to be able to use not just in the mat but in life. And those are rare places to find these days.
The parents are funny, because I always enjoy when a parent just question. I said, look, you are unique. I appreciate all these questions, and I appreciate them coming in because I want them to see who I am. You're leaving your assets, the most important thing in your life. You are trusting me to.
Yeah, right.
I said, you are coming asking me all these questions. You spend more time on buying a new car than where you put your kids at. Mm-hmm. So when they come in and they start doing it, I appreciate that, because this is the most important thing in your life. And I tell parents, when parents hear me say that, it's like, hey, look, there's a lot of bad gyms, martial arts instructors. There's a lot of bad people out there.
Yeah.
You know what? Come in and see me. You get to know me, and you will be like, I'm glad I started my son over there.
Right.
I'm glad my daughter's over there.
It's so important. That environment is so important when you're doing any of this stuff. It sounds like, and over the years, I've heard your name hundreds of times. And like we talked about the last time we were in here, I can't believe that this is the first time
we actually met each other.
We've met each other and we've run in the same circles for years. But that's all I hear about your school is that family aspect. And it's something I try to instill in this gym too. And I think people come in and you say that to them and they go, yeah, right, yeah. Family. But the first time I can't make a payment, you're going to kick me out of here, you know. And I try to instill in them that no, it's going to be different. And another, I tell you, I send people your way all the time. I had a lady come in here the other day that said that she had her kid in a karate class and they were paddling him for screwing up. I said, are you fucking kidding me? They're actually hitting your kid?
Oh my gosh.
She said, yeah, big wooden paddle. I said, go see Paul Jordan.
Oh my
Get him out of that and go see Paul Jordan. What the fuck are you doing?
That's crazy. That's crazy. They're lucky they don't end up in jail.
And right. And now I've heard stories from about Nakamura, who he would hurt you, but he'd hurt you in the right ways and he'd discipline you.
Listen, Mark. If and Chris Carrion will attribute it to.
Yeah, that's who Chris always told me the Nakamura stories.
And I don't care. You can go Nakamura at the jail. McCormick at Lorraine PD.
Yeah.
There's things they got away with once they retired. You're not getting away with that anymore.
Right.
It's done deal. If you do that, you are going to be brought up on charges. There's things, and Professor Nakamura put the foundation for me. And this is what I tell people when they get into judo. There's two kinds of coaches. There's not three kinds of coaches. You either love them or you hate them. If you got a coach and say, he's okay, he's not a good coach.
Right.
You're either going to love that guy because or you're going to hate him because you just can't stand the way he does it to you. I've been in judo so and I don't know, you know John Saylor, right?
Yes. Yep.
And I know my friend Pat Burris. Same age group. Pat was a two-time Olympian. He's a pretty boy. Hated Nakamura. Oh, he's one of my best friends in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Hates him. Will tell me that today. Can't stand that MFer.
Yeah.
Hate him. John Saylor loves him. Couldn't train enough with him.
Yeah.
Both great judo players. Coach, hey, go to another coach.
Right, yeah, you got to have that bond.
I come in there, it's either when Nakamura was there, love the guy. Whatever he did to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, he had a wooden stick. If I was out of line, I got whacked with that thing.
Yeah.
So I wonder why. And one of my coaches, she's 10 years younger than me. It's still in that. If you get out of line, things are. How come these kids don't get it? Oh, I remember. Nakamura
hit you with.
I get hit with that stick.
My father got his knuckles whacked with rulers going through Catholic school his whole life. I mean.
I posted something on Instagram the other day. Said when we were younger, we didn't put armed guards in our schools. We had nuns.
Yeah, my father's scared to death of nuns, hates them. But like you said, this is a whole different world, and I'm sure you have instilled all the same things in your kids that Nakamura gave to you.
Yeah.
It's just a different
way.
Different world that you live in and have to work it within.
The hardest thing, like when I was at Estabrook Rec Center in Cleveland, the program was offered free. Mm-hmm. Anybody in the city of Cleveland could come for free. So I just had a room. I teach 2 days a week kids, but I had a room 4 days a week that I trained with everybody.
Yeah.
So it was basically a room for me to train in, which I taught 3 hours a week, which was okay.
Yeah, right.
Because I had my 12 guys I trained with, and we were pretty good at it. But when I started the school, I had to be creative. You got to be creative. I'm dealing with parents get into. Now I'm teaching kids how to throw. I'm teaching kids how to do all this stuff. They're used to being with soccer, video games, t-ball, and now I got the kids out there doing something.
Yeah.
So I've got to be creative, one, on how to keep the kids' interest, how to make it fun for them, how to make it where the parents see. Because once the parents see that their kids are enjoying it, that's all the parents care about.
Right.
And so, when they're young at it, fine. And I get kids that cry. I got one kid last night cried. He did something and he doinked his head a little bit.
Happens.
So I got to show him that compassion.
Sure.
Make them feel, after about 30 seconds, the tears, and they go back at it.
Yeah.
So just one of those things where if it was Professor Nakamura, get up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
I used to hear stories about him.
And when he first moved here, that's when I started training with him.
Yeah.
So I switched judo clubs with him when I was 13 years old.
Okay.
So I met him when I was 12.
And what was his full Professor?
Ryozo Nakamura,
right. Yeah, I had heard stories when I started working at the jail, and I think he had just passed away.
91.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
92.
So I started in 96. 6 there, so not too. But they were still telling stories about how even at his advanced age, an inmate would get out of line, they'd call for Professor Nakamura, and he'd come walking down there, and the inmate would be just like, okay, I'm done. I don't want any part of this, and would just go to his cell.
Just old school, and because he's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And because he had 90% of his stomach cut out, his son. When I see his son Yoshi, I see a splitting image of it.
Yeah.
And Yoshi just wrestled over the weekend up in New York City, Beat the Streets fundraiser.
He was state champion on St. Ed's,
2
right?
times, but he's 40 years old now.
Is he really?
He was wrestling a collegiate wrestler, pinned the guy, freestyle.
I didn't realize he was almost as old as I am. Wow.
Yeah.
I just remember him being an absolute animal at St. Ed's,
Yeah, he was an animal at Penn. But his dad looks just like him. And his dad when I met him was 175 pounds. And he had Popeye forearms.
Yeah, right.
And the Popeye forearms I felt those Popeye forearms. And when he had a problem, we had to cut out, I think it was like 80% of his stomach. He went from 175 down to about 145. That's when he was at the jail.
Right.
At 145, and they were still
scared to death of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old inmates would talk about him and just didn't screw around with him. He was, and it was nice that when Chris Carrion, was the guy who was the self-defense guy, and same thing with Chris Carrion. When Chris Carrion got called down to a pod, everyone's like, oh shit, and they would just go to their cells. I never saw Chris Carrion have to put his hands on anybody.
It's amazing.
Because they were just scared to death of him.
I look at things like this. It's a perception. I've been in judo a long time. I've seen some really great judo players. I've seen some guys that personally I don't think they could fight out what paper bag.
Yeah.
But they're a black belt in judo.
Sure.
And I'm sitting to myself going, I would tell guys, I go, you don't know me. How do you know I'm that good?
Yeah.
How do you know? Well, how do they know? You've never seen me do anything.
Right.
What, you want to try me out? No. Why not?
I'd say no.
I would if I was me and you came in and you said, hey, I'm this guy. Oh, okay. Let's get busy. Let's see what happens.
Well, didn't you say back in the day, before you had MMA, that guys like Dan Severn would show up at these meets, and you'd be like, I want to work with this guy. I want to fight with him. I want to roll with him. Yeah.
I told you that one day they had his weight wrong.
Right.
My weight. I was in his weight.
Because he was huge.
He was 260.
Yeah.
And I weighed 205. And I said, I want in his division.
Yeah.
I want to go up against him. I want to get.
Did you get a chance to wrestle with him?
No, the tournament was ridiculous. It went on so long, and he had to catch a plane out of Detroit, so he didn't even stay for it.
Right.
Yeah, I was 4:00 in the afternoon. I hadn't gone in. He said he had a flight out of Detroit at 8:00.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, I was game. I was all in for that. I go, I'm going to get Dan Severn.
Yeah.
I'll get him on. I might not get him in the cage, but I know I'll get him on a judo mat.
Yeah, it's nice nowadays that those guys have outlets. Back then, what did you do? I mean, there wasn't much you could do. I guess you go to Japan and become a pro wrestler or something, But there wasn't that many outlets for those guys.
That's where Coach Urbis over at St. Ed's, we've had discussions, and Coach Jane, and they're like, you still into that MMA stuff? It's like, Coach, you guys train the baddest of the bad in high school wrestling.
Yeah.
They go into college and they become the baddest of the bad, all Americans. Now they graduate and you just tell them, go get a job with your degree.
Go be an accountant now.
Go get a job
with your cauliflower ears.
Go do this. The UFC comes along and offers them a chance to make thousands of dollars and do something that they're warriors.
Yeah.
All they got to do is just add a couple of things to their arsenal. Yeah. They're warriors. Yeah. And you're telling them go back to work? Come on, Coach.
Yeah, you'd think they'd
open your mind, but they're older. They're old school.
Coach Jane was actually my first ever wrestling coach when he was at Elyria High School. Yeah, I was in with his son. I can't remember. Eddie. Yep, he was my age.
Because Eddie took judo with me.
Yeah.
So did Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good kids.
Great coach. Great coach.
I just saw him 2 weeks ago at sectionals.
But it's nice now that there is an outlet for those guys, and they can do something after they get out of wrestling or out of when they.
And even my 40-year-olds, older guys that come in, that were athletes. Let's just not even say wrestling. They play football or something. They go, there's just nothing to do.
Yep.
I go, come play. Now, again, it's not judo.
Yeah.
Come play some jiu-jitsu. Come on now, where you can get some aggressions out. You can do something. You can feel a little bit of accomplishment once you get acclimated to it.
Yeah.
But it's something that you.
I get 40-year-old guys and girls all the time, and they stick with this and they love this because it reminds them of being a volleyball player in high school, or because they've had no outlet for 20 years.
I always tell people when a high school athlete or a college athlete, a high school athlete that can't take it to the next level, which is 10% of high school athletes make it at the next level.
Right.
What do you have as an outlet? Softball?
Yeah.
Flag football? A pool league? What actually is out there for somebody? I mean, now you got here, you got Blind Dog, you got a judo jiu-jitsu school, and then your place takes them into the Scottish games. It takes you into the CrossFit games. It takes you into other avenues that probably would never have dreamed of doing when they came in here.
Sure. Yeah, we sent 9 women to strongman nationals, 9 total. There was like 7 of them were women 2 years ago, and they're all soccer moms, or the one's a bank teller, and they never came in here to do that.
What a dream to that. Isn't it amazing though?
Yeah.
Our businesses we deal in, we take people to places they would have never dreamed of being before.
And that's the way to do it, man. Those are the people I love to work with, and yeah, it's been a really cool trip, but awesome. Well, I tell you what, if you've got a kid,
it is a pleasure coming in here, Mark.
We're gonna have to do it again. And actually, now I've got people would see this. I've got 3 setups here, just in case one of them goes haywire. It seems like all of them will work, so I've got this setup waiting just in case something goes wrong with the audio. But great talking to you. If you have a kid in this area, or if you're an adult in this area and want to learn some judo, learn some jiu-jitsu, take them out to Avon. Find Paul Jordan at Chudu. I'm looking at it's so hard for me. Chudubu Braza Jiu-Jitsu Judo.
Judo Jiu-Jitsu. CHUTOBU Brasa BRASA.com.
And he's all over Facebook and Instagram. And if you need to get a hold of him and can't find him, get a hold of me at the show, and I'll get you in touch with him. And I think you should all have your kids in there and learn some life skills.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Mark, I appreciate it always. Thank you.
All right, brother. This has been the Refined Savage. See ya.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That was longer than the last one we went to.
That's good. It could go all day. Isn't it, though? Actually, should part 1, part 2.
Well,
I don't have to worry about that.
The way